And then Cade Cintorino on the mound here for the Great Lakes Resorters out of Grand Valley State University, getting his first start in Resorter Green. Kind of an unconventional sidearm delivery Cintorino has, but the thing to pay attention about the big lefty, he'll look to keep the pit spitters off the board early in this one. That was not the case last night. This one hit back to him, throw over to first in plenty of time. Quick out for the big lefty. Evan Mayday in next. Cintorino out of Grand Rapids, Michigan. Again, he looks to keep the spinners off the board early in this very first start in Resorters Green. The spitters piled on 7 runs in last night's ball game. Goes to Grand Valley State University. As a junior in 2019, started 10 games for GVSU. 3.44 ERA, so pretty impressive. 44 strikeouts and 52 1/3. Pitched back-to-back complete game shutouts against Seton Hill. 4 hits, 2 walks, 7 strikeouts. And West Chester, he had 11 strikeouts in that game. He's a Michigan kid. Prior to Grand Valley, went to Muskegon Community College, earned second-team all-conference honors as a sophomore. 3 balls, 2 strikes here to Mayday. At high school, he prepped under Joe Acker at Kennewa Hills High School. Earned all conference honors as a junior and senior. Here's he walks Mayday, so he'll take a trot down to first base. First man on base for either team here tonight is Evan Mayday. But where Cade Cintorino really shined was in his Little League career. Here's Flores, a .164 home run, 11 RBIs on the season. He's been hot as of late. But Cintorino played for Western Little League in Grand Rapids, and for a little while there, Western, they were by far one of the most dominant Little Leagues in the entire state of Michigan. Maybe we can go as far as to say the entire country. At that time, District 9 represented the Central States in the Little League World Series for 4 straight years. Really good article from MLive in 2016 about Cade when he, backed by 7 fellow Kennewa Hills teammates and a handful of neighboring West Catholic teammates, including Pittsburgh's outfielder GAETANO VALLONE, advanced to the District 9 Big League World Series. I mean, that wasn't the first time for a lot of the guys on that roster. In fact, it was the 3rd time for a lot of them. 2 balls, no strikes here to Tito Flores. Familiarity was a huge contributing factor in why that team was so successful, though. A lot of these kids had been playing baseball together in some capacity since they were just 8 years old over on the west side of Grand Rapids. Falls well behind Flores here, 3-0. Christian Felicki, one of the guys that played behind him, fellow Kennewa Hills teammate and childhood friend, said chemistry was a big deal for him. Flores swings and misses. Mayday holds up at first. But he said it helped us in all of our wins that summer. Why not, do it one last year? Cade even added that, he had a certain comfort level with Felicki behind him. He tried to get ground balls because he knew that Christian was going to be there and he was going to make plays. There were a ton of kids on that roster, both from Kennewa Hills and Grand Rapids West Catholic. Couple of walks here for Cade Cintorino as Flores goes down to first. So Mayday over to second base, Flores to first. It's probably been a while since Cintorino's been out on the mound. Again, his very first start here for Great Lakes in this ball game is Coach Cut and the remainder of this team just tries to find guys that they can fill out the roster with that will be able to finish the season with them. MONROE steps in the first pitch. Pounded to the left side. Bassard can't make the play. He bobbles it and everybody's safe. E5 goes that one, and now there's bases loaded with just one out. Here's Brant Kim now with the bases loaded. Playing in his very first game as a Traverse City Pitts bidder. But Cintorino in Western Little League certainly made their mark during his time there. This one flied to left center. Pollock makes the catch. Mayday takes off for home. There won't be a play. MONROE takes off for second on the air and throw back into the infield. Pitts bidders take the 1-0 lead. So Kim doing what he needs to do to get the Pitts bidders on the board. Here's Carson Eby, who was lights out in last night's ballgame. But that District 9 roster included Austin Anderson, Kennewa Hills, Jace Beatty, Kennewa Hills, Blake Bison at Grand Rapids West Catholic, who also went on to become a teammate of Cintorino's at Muskegon Community College. I grew up around a lot of these kids, and both West Catholic and Kennewa Hills produced a lot of great baseball players, and that Little League team was always a riot to watch. Another big test here for Cintorino and Carson Eby. 2 for 5 in last night's game. He's been on fire. Over to shortstop. Diving to try to make the play is Farquhar, but it bounces off of his glove, and it's a 2-0 game for the Pitts bidders here in the first. MONROE advances to third. Eby another base knock. Fausti will try to add another RBI in this one. Cintorino having a whale of a time in this bottom of the first inning. He won't be able to stick around long if the guys behind him can't make plays. Great diving attempt there by Trent Farquhar, but just booted off the end of his glove. Already a 2-0 lead in favor of the Spitters, and we're not even out of the first. Fastball that grabs the outside part of the plate. No balls, 1 strike. So a couple of college teammates here, Chris Faust and Cade Cintorino. Faust sitting at 218 so far in the season. He's been pretty good. Popped up to the right side. Who's got it? De Herrera's there to make the catch, and that'll be that. 2-0 Spitters when we return. Northwoods League Baseball Network. Baseball game here at Turtle Creek Stadium has a new outfit. I like that outfit. Monty should dress me in the morning. Cintorino's first pitch, just a touch outside here to Logan Heilich to get us started off. Heilich, Vallone, and then Trey Younger at the top of the order, the scheduled 3 here in the second inning. Back-to-back pitches, just a touch outside, 2-0. Heilich getting his first start behind the plate. I feel like we have new names coming in every single day here in Traverse City. I got the opportunity to talk to a reporter earlier this morning about some of the frequent changes that we're seeing here in Traverse City on the daily. Again, coming up in a little bit, a big announcement on the remainder of the season. Heilich skies this one to center. 1 down. Austin Pollock there to make the catch. So an easy fly out for Cintorino to get the bottom of second started. But it was a journalist from The Ringer that I was talking to, and he asked me questions about just how unconventional and weird the 2020 season has been so far. And, nothing has been more odd than introducing new guys in what seems like every single day, every single baseball game, there's someone new. You know, the original thought was when we started the season back on July the 1st that we would just cruise through with the teams that we had. Well, that didn't work out. COVID-19 shut us down for a couple of weeks, and then before you know it, schools are saying that they're going to start opening up 2-3 weeks earlier than what they normally do. Well, as you could imagine, that threw a wrench in our plans. So the season in a lot of ways has turned into kind of scramble mode for both of these managers as that one runs in and gets VALLONE on the back. So one former Little League teammate plunks the other. So VALLONE will take first base. The Western Little League connection there. So Heilich in his first game at catcher. VALLONE in his first time out in center field. Here's one of the non-new guys in Trey Younger. VALLONE threatens to steal, he'll go back. Younger so far in the season, 286. As of late, he's been tearing the cover off the ball. A 3-hit ball game last night. No RBIs to speak of, but he's been putting to bat the ball, so that's really all that matters at the end of the day. He taps that one foul. Quickly 1 ball, 1 strike. Throw back over to first, not in time. Trey Younger, though, top-tier infielder. And increasingly so has a solid bat. Trained at IMG Academy, where he hit .352 with a .500 slugging percentage. Cintorino taking his time. Younger calls time. Really an all-around athlete, too. I mean, he lettered in football his freshman year of high school. But has really flashed the leather in a lot of the ball games over at second base, really sure-handed. Reifenberg in to make the catch. 2 outs.
Here's the right fielder, Evan Mayday.
So a couple is sent down here by Cade Cintorino. One of just a collection of new Grand Valley State players on this baseball team. Got Cintorino out of Grand Valley. On the other team, for the Traverse City Pittsbitters, Chris Faust out of Grand Valley State as well. As well as Mark Scannell, who's the relief pitcher that came on yesterday. He got the win for the Pittsbitters in that 7-1 victory. Not just any victory, the playoff clinching victory for Traverse City. Their second straight year making it into the playoffs, although I don't know if it means as much here in 2020. Not that it doesn't mean something to these guys. Of course it does. But a lot of them have said it certainly doesn't feel the same not getting the chance to defend their title against the entire league. You know, rather you're just playing the state of Michigan, which that's fine. We're not even going to get to see a lot of these guys finish the season the way they started it. Plenty of them taking off before that first playoff game coming up on September the 3rd. Talks have even gone as far as to say these two teams could potentially combine rosters. Again, that's just a rumor. Moore has room. He falls in front of the backstop and makes the catch. How about the awareness from the catcher there? Still a 2-0 game, Northwoods League Baseball Network. A big welcome back in for everyone viewing here on the Northwoods League Baseball Network. We're finishing up the on-game festivities here. Cade Cintorino has been having a decent day. gave up a pair of runs in that first inning, back-to-back walks for a sac fly and a single off the bat of Carson Eby scored a pair. That second inning wasn't bad. Fly out, pop out for the lefty out of Grand Valley State University. Certainly not too bad for his first game back on the mound and probably some amount of time. Has to face the heart of the lineup here in TITO, Flores. Chris Monroe and then Brant Kim for the Pittsbitters. Flores out of the University of Michigan. Certainly a fan favorite. Fouls that one. No balls, one strike here on the righty. For Cintorino, 2 runs isn't too bad. The one thing you want to avoid, though, against this Traverse City batting lineup is the big inning. We talked about this last night. It's kind of like the Hail Mary in football, the 95-yard touchdown, throw, pass, run, whatever you want to call it. You can't let up the big inning and expect to beat these guys. This guy to center. Pollock's there, one down.
Pittsburgh's first baseman, Chris Monroe.
But these Pittsbitters have made it a habit of scoring big and scoring often. Last night they spread their runs out over the course of the 9-inning game. So they didn't really have the big inning last night. So pitching wasn't too bad here for the Great Lakes Resorters. It was just their inability to get guys in. And they left 11 men in scoring position in last night's ballgame. 12 on the base paths in general. It's never a winning formula. Monroe smokes the 1-0 to the left side. 1 ball, 1 strike. How about the big dog out of Illinois Springfield and Chris Monroe? 26 RBIs to this point in the season. Okay, that's by far the team lead. But not only that, Chris Monroe has proven to be one of the more elite first basemen on both of these teams. Seems like every single night he's making some sort of outstanding scoop over at first base. One of 3 home runs on this team, a 440-foot bomb to left field. That next pitch drops a little bit low. 2 balls, 2 strikes here against Monroe. So he's elite defensively. He's got a great bat on his shoulders. That batting average at 284 towards the top of this roster for guys that have been on the team as long as he has. Just 8 more ball games left in Pittsbitter red. This one to right field. It's over the head of Ryan Reifenberg. How about another double for Chris Monroe and a 9-game hitting streak? Ties Evan Mayday for the longest hit streak this season. What more do you want me to say about Chris Monroe? Opposite field smoke and now a man in scoring position with 1 out. That's just what he does. Got a pitch he could handle, roped it the other way. Reifenberg not quite able to get on it. Now here's Brant Kim with just 1 out and a man on 2. First pitch a little bit high. Our umpires in the ball game here tonight: home plate Max Steiner, first base Lucas Colucci, and then Tyler Jones over at third. Kim awaits the 1-0. 2 down. Meanwhile, Monroe over to third base.
Designated hitter for the pit spitters.
Kim advances the runner. Ground out 4-3. Again, an update on the way the rest of the season schedule is going to pan out coming up in the next half inning. So make sure you stick around and pay attention to what we talk about then. So it skips away from Moore. Monroe thinks about it. It's not that quick. 1-0. Well, Carson Eby, though. Four-game hitting streak. Just got done, or rather just coming off of back-to-back multi-hit games. And so far has notched an RBI in every single game in which he's played. You know, we were concerned there for a little bit with Mario Camilletti leaving, Spencer Schwellenbach, Cruz Taylor, Jake Arnold. You name it, any one of the big bats that were taking off. The concern for a second there was who's going to fill their spot. Carson Eby was the next man up, and he's delivered. Pair of fouls off to the left. 1 ball, 2 strikes here on Eby. Got the chance to see him and Gaetano Vallone before last night's game. And again, Davenport, fortunately, one of those schools that doesn't start back up until September the 8th. So that gives these guys the opportunity to play the remainder of the season. There are some schools that are doing half online, some schools that are doing just online, some schools that are starting late, some schools that are starting early. Again, it all depends what university you go to. Well, Davenport's September 8th, and I mean, that's the big reason why we see so many Panthers in the league right now. This one by Noah Moore. Monroe on his way home. No play at the plate. 3-0 game. Noah Moore just simply dropped that ball. No chance for an RBI here for Carson Eby, but still a chance to up that batting average and extend his multi-hit streak to 3 games. That won't do it. Fouled back, still 3-2. But as we mentioned a little bit earlier, the Pitt Spitters officially clinched the playoff berth last night. Enjoying a 16.5 game lead over the Great Lakes Resorters to this point in the season. Ball 4 called. Noah Moore tried to sell it as if he was moving off the field. Eby down to first base. Another walk here for Cade Cintorino. Then we have our beer batter here in this ball game, Chris Faust. One college teammate will try to make sure that the other college teammate doesn't get everyone half off beer for the next 3 outs. But one of the reasons why you should definitely make it out to a ball game, and again, only a handful of them left, is because you get to see a lot of local talent. High and outside. 1 ball, 1 strike here to Faust. A lot of guys from Davenport University, Grand Valley State University. We have a pitcher, Grant Smits, for the Resorters from Aquinas. Cintorino again taking his time, and again, time called here by Faust. And rightfully so. Josh Rebant loves to send him. How about 9 stolen bases in last night's game? 9. Jane's in its track, got the ball, and that'll be that. Spitters push another across, 3-0 game. Northwoods League Baseball Network.